Hi, this is Patrick Jazuski, and this is the Weeylite Ninja 400. The Weeylite Ninja 400 is also listed sometimes under Viltrox, and it's a 150 watt bicolor 2500 Kelvin to 8500 Kelvin light. It's got a CRI index of over 97%, and it's got a stated lux of 16,700 at 1 meter. I normally do cooking videos, but I've been helping my wife set up a studio for Bay Lake News Network, her channel that looks at Disney news. And I've been getting into some more of the gear and technical aspects of making videos. And so when Viltrox invited me to take a look at this light and review it, I jumped at the chance. I'd recently bought some GVM lights, and they've been great, but a little more dim than I was hoping to get. You can see this light, well, it's out of frame, but this light is not giving me quite as much as I was hoping for, and I have to boost the ISO a little more than I necessarily want to on my Sony a6500. So having a brighter light would be great. And the Weeylite helps me to do that. It's got way more power, 150 watts versus 85 watts. And so I'm excited to see what this can do for us. From a construction perspective, it's all metal casing on the outside with some plastic components. The hand grip, for example, is plastic. Some of the pieces are plastic or on the outside, but the body, the main part of the body is all metal, and the yoke itself is metal as well. I like that the clamping mechanism on the yoke is very easy to use. It has a simple lever that you flip out, and then you can position to where you want, flip the lever back, and it's locked in. That's really convenient. I also noticed that the mounting bracket that goes under your light stand can be mounted in the normal vertical method on a light stand, or 90 degrees mounted horizontal. So you have several mounting configurations that you can work with. It's a very solid build. The controller is very easy to use. There's only a few buttons on it and a wheel that lets you dial in exactly which power level and color temperature you want to work with in 1% increments for power and color temperature in 100 Kelvin increments. I did notice that the power at 1% is quite bright already and only gets brighter from there. At 100% it is incredibly bright, and we'll do some tests later on to gauge how bright it is in comparison to the GVM lights I have. The color temperature, I noticed it has a slightly more magenta cast at 5500 Kelvin versus the GVM has a slight green tint to it. We'll test that as well with a gray color checker and gauge which one's more true, at least in the eyes of the Sony camera. The controller also has DMX in and out. I don't use that because I'm not stage lighting, but that is an option for controlling it in that way. And it also has wireless controlling methods. The first one is the included remote. It's super easy to pair. Just make sure it's on the right channel and the right group, and it works really well. Scrolls, it can short taps get you at 1% increments, and pushing and holding jumps in 5% increments, and it goes really quickly to get to 100% or wherever you want. So it dials in very nicely. It's intuitive, easy to use. Hitting the mode button lets you switch to color temperature and dial that in as well. Your third option for controlling is actually with an app. The QR code in the manual that takes you to a download spot where you can get the APK for the Android application or the iOS application. And I always get a little nervous when I'm installing third-party apps, not through the App Store. You never know what's built in there, but I didn't have any issues with it when I was playing with the controls, and it's, again, super easy to use. It pairs instantly. You don't have to try and pair it yourself, and it has both Chinese and English. Initially, it shows up in Chinese. You just hit what looks to be like an OK button, then hit the English button, and you're good to go. I didn't have it stumble or hesitate at all in my use. It worked just very smoothly. The controller also has a mount on the back for a V-mount battery connection. You can also attach other Bowens mount pieces to the light itself. So that if you have barn doors, a Fresnel, or a softbox, easily mounted to the front of the light, and it works very well that way. Fan noise, I've noticed, is very, very quiet. To me, it's near silent. Now, granted, I haven't been running at very hot temperature, or I should say high power, but once I dial in the high power, even then, it's not very loud. Let's do a quick measurement of fan noise at 100%, and I am standing about 1 foot away. To me, it's near silent. You definitely can feel some heat radiating off the fins that are in there, but again, it's very, very quiet. You're not going to pick this up on your audio. So let's do a test where we compare the brightness of this relative to the GVM, and we can see how many more stops of brightness we get through this versus the other light. I now have the reflector dish on it, and we'll turn to a white wall over here. What I'm planning to do is use the zebras that's in the Sony camera and find out where it clips and how many stops difference it is between the two lights. That way I can know which light is brighter. So first up, I've got the GVM light. We're about a meter from the wall here, and I'm filming my A6300, 1/60th a second and f5.0. We're clipping. That means it's brighter than what the sensor is capturing, and therefore it's clipping, so it can't see any brighter than that. Let's compare that to where the light clips with the Ninja 400. So I'm in the same position with the Ninja 400, currently at 2% brightness. Let's crank it up to 100%, and then I'll use the iris of the A6300 and stop down until I get to a point of the only just a little bit in the center of the 107 clipping. So let's go up to 100% first. All right, so we are at 100% now. And you can see I'm clipping on the A6500 as well behind it. So from 5.0 to 1/3, 2/3, full stop, equivalent difference. So this is quite a bit better. You get looks like you're getting a full stop of brightness more out of the Ninja 400 than I was getting out of the GVM. And now I'm set to 55 Kelvin. I want to see what the color temperature shows up as in my A6300 when I do a color match. So I'm going to set a custom color, have it in the middle, and it's actually showing me 5,000 Kelvin even. Let me try it one more time. I'll turn off this GVM light I have behind me and test that color temperature again. So the 5500 Kelvin in the unit is showing up as only 4900 Kelvin when I test it. I am only at 1% brightness right now, so let's see what it does at a higher brightness setting and see if that makes any difference. So we're now at 77%. I'm going to stop down on my A6500 so we can see the shot better. And I'm going to see if that makes any difference in terms of the white balance that I can read. Now I'm seeing 5100 Kelvin. Either way, quite a bit different than the 5500 Kelvin. That tells me that this light reads warmer than is telling me. That's why it's always important to check your white balance. You can see the carrying case that came with the Weeylite, as well as the controller and the remote. Now the controller works very easily. Just use this wheel and you can dial it to the percentage of where you want that to be. Hit set and you can change the color temperature. Like I said, I'm probably going to be at around 5500 Kelvin most of the time. Pretty easy to deal with that way. Set to switch back to the power. You can see it how it works right next to it. So short taps dial in on the percentage basis. Long holds move quickly in 5% intervals. Very easy to work with that way. You can change the channel of the group with the group button. Mode just cycles between color temperature and percentage intensity. Very easy to deal with. The app works similarly. Since I've used it once, I get a user agreement in English now. And then I can just power on by pushing this power button up here, or off. And then power works very simply along the slider. Very easy to work with. This is CCT, is the color temperature. Now the hard thing I found with the app is getting it precise to the specific percentage you want in 1% intervals. That's a little hard to dial in. But if you're working with just on or off or don't really care about that much precision, it's easy to use. You can also jump to presets for color temperature below. That's really nice to have. Pretty simple, but convenient to use little app. It's priced in at $369, but there is a $100 off coupon on Amazon right now, so bringing the price down to $269. I've got an affiliate link below if you're interested in trying that out. The big competitors to this are the brand new Aputure Amaran 100X. Comes in at $299, and you know, that's a little bit different than this. Actually, it claims 34,300 lux at 1 meter, whereas this is in the 16,000 lux range, so they're claiming a brightness that is twice as bright as this. Other competitors are the Godox SL150W, another 150 watt light. That comes in at $339, but that's claiming a whopping 58,000 lux at 1 meter, which is crazy. I haven't tested these side by side to see if those are true. They truly come through, but those are some big claims for brightness. The GVM that I own is claiming 11,500 lux, but at only a half a meter. So that is well below 4,000 lux at 1 meter. And that comes in at $119. And then another alternative is the Well Making. It's an 80 watt light, and that looked interesting to me because it's such a small package, but it only comes in at 8,100 lux, and that's for $209. So there's a lot of different options out there. This is getting to be a very crowded market with more options than just Aputure like we've traditionally had. So you can get a good light like this for a reasonable price, especially $269 after the coupon. That's a pretty darn good deal for a light of this quality. Really, it all depends on what you need for your situation. Do you need bicolor? Do you need brightness? What's most important to you? For me, I don't find myself using the bicolor too much. I anticipate I'll keep it dialed in at the 5500 Kelvin most of the time, but really, it's nice to have that flexibility when I want to light a scene warmer or significantly cooler, and then color match to that, and I can make some cool effects that way. If I have a tungsten light elsewhere, I can make that look even more warm by using a cool setting on this and adjusting the color temperature settings in my camera to match that. So I think I can come up with some interesting things that way. So it's nice to have that in my back pocket. I'm super impressed with the quality of the cables, the length of the cables. This cable here that attaches to the back, it's about 10 feet long, and that means that I can set the controller on the ground or hang it from the light stand here, and I have that flexibility. It's nice to have that so you can use it either way. Like I said, the remote is nice to have, the Bluetooth is nice to have as options. The reflector dish is also included as part of the package. So all in all, I'm happy with this light. I think it's a great light, and I think it's going to be really nice to have the extra brightness that this light can offer that I couldn't get out of my GVM. So thank you for watching, and happy to answer any questions, and have a great day.